Big Pig is a game that's based on a true story. There was a man called John Pork, and he was really good friends with this guy called Chris. But Chris would never answer John Pork's calls, so John got mad. He kidnapped Chris and made him fight his way through Unity asset levels, whilst collecting fruit and defeating John Pork's children. Don't believe me? Search up John Pork Inflate. Big Pig is a game that exists. It is on the Steam store. You can play this video game. What more is there to say? In all seriousness, Big Pig is a fun game that has more depth to it than you'd assume at first glance. I first saw this game through a TikTok video and decided I had to try it. The first thing you see when you load up Big Pig is the epic main menu. Main menus in games are usually very boring, but in Big Pig the dev went the extra mile. Instead of just selecting your level or settings, you have to shoot the blocks, which all have a subtle destruction effect. Even the settings menu has you play the game by shooting the blocks to change your sensitivity. There's truly not a dull moment in Big Pig. Once you've managed to start the game, you're put into the first level. Levels in this game are a bit like in the niche indie game Elden Ring. You have to go along the path to the end of the level, collecting fruit on the way and defeating enemies. However, unlike in Elden Ring, if you reach the end of the level in Big Pig without all the fruit, you can't finish the level, and have to go back and figure out where you missed some fruit, unless you've already hit a checkpoint, in which case you'll probably just have to restart. In the game there's lots of different types of enemies, all pigs. I'll explain what each pig does and even put them in a tier list because ranking things is pretty fun. First up is the regular default pig. It looks like a normal pig, but it can shoot ham at you and sometimes run towards you as well. Weak on its own, but you often see them in groups or hard to reach spots. It's the OG, but since it's pretty basic, it's going in B tier. Next is the golden pig. These guys can't shoot any projectile but will charge at you on sight. Not any issue if you see them coming, but they can often sneak up on you or be hidden around corners. They're also immune to the fireball attack, which is pretty cool. A tier. The boar is technically a pig, I think. In game, it's just a bigger version of the basic pig. It will charge at you on sight, and you get a variant called the big boar that will shoot sausages at you very quickly. These guys are designed to ambush you and catch you off guard with their very quick attacks, and they can't be attacked by ice or fire. Because they're annoying, C tier. Next is the ice pig and ice boar. They function the same as the default pig and boar, but have a subtle particle effect on them, and they shoot flaming hams or frozen hams. They can only be destroyed by the opposite element, so fire kills the ice ones and ice kills the fire ones. Kinda cool, but nothing crazy. B tier. I was always told I will get a girlfriend when pigs fly. Well, the time has come. The flying pig is a straight menace. They travel super quickly in the air and shoot flaming hams at you, and can only be killed with an ice or fire attack. The Season 2 boss spawns lots of these during the fight too, and chances are these guys are the last thing you'll see before getting slimed. A tier. Finally, in Season 3 Level 2 you find the Big Pig. These guys are disappointingly no different than the default pig except for their size, and that they can't shoot hams. The only interesting thing about them is that their bodies can block your view ahead, and they sometimes ragdoll in funny positions. C tier. Next is a hippopotamus. These pigs are the stuff of nightmares. They're immune to ice and fire, are very quick, and are almost always hidden underwater somewhere. More times than I can count have I been jump scared by one of these hogs, and that's why I'm putting them in C tier. The micro pig is next, and I do mean the micro pig, as I believe there's only a single one in the entire game. This little guy is just a tiny version of the big pig, but looks pretty cute. Also, could be a reference to that incredibly obscure Dark Souls 2 secret, where sometimes a little pig will spawn in one area. A tier. Lion pigs are the apex predator of the Big Pig universe. They've actually been genetically engineered to be able to tank precisely one ball before dying. Since they're immune to ice and fire, you have to hit them all with 2 balls to defeat them. As well as that, they're very quick and often come in packs. Because they're the GOAT of the pigs, they're going in S tier. The weird pig is just weird. Looks the same as a regular pig, except they bought the $20 battle pass and are flexing their new skins. Aside from that, they are literally no different and barely appear in the game, so they're going in B tier. Lastly, there's the dancing pig. When you beat a season, you get to see a little dance show for your efforts, which is all the reward I need. My good friend Aidan Ross proposed the idea that the dancing pig should not have its own place on the tier list, and that it's just the default pig. My argument was that whilst on the surface they look the same, their abilities and functions are so different that they cannot be the same. The default pig walks on all fours and shoots ham. The dancing pig can stand on its own hind legs and dance. Surely these differences are emblematic of the dancing pig, instead being an offshoot of the default pig line. Whilst the dancing pig retained the same size and skin colour of the default pig, it's adapted to be able to dance while learning to walk on two legs. And since it no longer had any lust for combat, it must have lost its ability to shoot ham entirely. If anyone wanted to show me a video of, say, a dancing pig shooting ham, or a default pig gets up and dance, then I would admit my mistake and acknowledge that the dancing pig and default pig are the same. But until that event, or unless new information comes to light. For now, I will maintain the claim that the dancing pig is a totally separate and unique pig, and place them in S tier accordingly. In the game at the moment, there are 50 different levels, 21 in Season 1, then 15 in Season 2, and 14 in Season 3. Each level is very different and they take place in unique and oftentimes beautiful or mystical environments. I won't go over every level, but we'll discuss my 5 favourite ones. Number 5 is Season 2 Level 5. This level is made up of lots of little rocks sticking out of the water with fire and ice pigs on pillars to the sides. I love the look of this level, the setting sun creating a lovely orange and blue sky, and the swell of the ocean looks pretty, but also makes some of the platforming more interesting, as some of the rocks can be obscured by the water. Number 4 is Season 3 Level 4. This level is made up of little rooms and tight corridors, along with some blocked off entranceways that you need to clear. The standout here are the pigs. The big pigs are put to good use here as their huge bodies mean you can't see what's behind them. And this level contains the one and only micro pig. This little one makes a brave attempt to take you out, but in the end just gets turned into cocktail sausages instead. Number 3 is Season 3 Level 11. For this level, the dev clearly took inspiration from one of the best areas in gaming history, Dark Souls 2's Frigid Outskirts. Instead of being in a snowstorm, you're in a sandstorm, and instead of mutant reindeer, you get lion pigs charging at you from out of the gloom instead. The level design is very simple, just follow the crystals to the end and don't let the lion pigs or other pigs get you. By the time I was on this level, I'd been jump scared so many times I developed a severe case of paranoid schizophrenia and couldn't stop looking behind me, just in case there'd be a hippopotamus coming after me. My anxiety was lessened thanks to the ridiculous soundtrack in this level, however, which is playing now and sounds like something a crow teaming up with XQC would produce. Number 2 is Season 2 Level 13. This level is quite simple. You travel across a few different little islands in what I imagine Finland looks like, which are filled with enemy pigs, but more notably giant structures of different materials. There's gold and silver ones covered in dots that look a bit like braille or some sort of other incomprehensible combination. Then later there's other towers made of different materials, also guarded by the pigs. Just like those scenes in Evangelion, this level makes the player question things on 2 different levels. It makes you wonder why the towers are there, who built them and why. Why are we even trying to get fruit in the first place? Are the pigs trying to stop us stealing their food, or is there something bigger going on here? Then it makes you ponder other questions. Questions like, why are my parents disappointed in me? Why don't I get a job? And, why am I playing Big Pig? None of those questions will be answered, but at least you get a nice chill break before the next level, which is also number 1 on my list. My favourite level in all of Big Pig is Season 2 Level 14. If you know anything about this game, you'll have heard tales about this level. At first, it seems pretty normal. Maybe a bit more platforming than normal and not many pigs, but that's all. If you happen to look at the number of fruit in the level, seeing that there's over 300 might have set off some alarm bells, however. Then the level keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, and each segment is harder than the last. First it's just jumping over ice cubes and shooting a few pigs. Then there's narrow platforms and spherical ones that nudge you into the water. Then platforms that barely stick out of the water and sloped surfaces that are annoying to travel across, followed by many tiny stepping stones to hop across. Finally, you'll reach the first very tricky part, the ice beams. A crisscrossing network of thin beams you have to traverse, with one wrong step sending you into the drink. Then once you've finally beaten that, there's some jumps onto platforms you can barely see, some ice cubes, and you've reached the nightmare section. In this game, there's no sprint key. You go the direction of whatever key you press at full speed, basically instantly, and maintain that momentum in the air. This means you never need to run up for a long jump, but also means holding the W key for a millisecond too long will send you flying over your target. Plus, the player hitbox is way further back than the camera, so landing jumps always feels like you're too far forward. And finally, some of the jumps require you to leap at the very last possible second to even reach the next block. And with all that, you have to make 30 jumps in a row perfectly, each block a different distance away than the previous one. And there's a few pigs chucked in there too for good measure. The first time I tried this level, it took me just under an hour, and the last segment alone took me 25 minutes. I got to the very end finally, only to realise I was missing 2 fruit, and so had no choice but to accept defeat. That night, whilst I was on TikTok, I saw the dev of the game's account, and on his latest video I jokingly commented how he had wasted my evening because I spent an hour on one level only to be a couple fruit short at the end. I saw he liked my comment, and the next day I tried again and finally beat the level. In about half the time of my first attempt too. Then later on I saw an update to the game. He had changed that specific level because players were missing 2 to 3 collectibles. I don't know if it was my comment that made him change it, but regardless, huge respect to the dev for listening to a joke TikTok comment. The game also has 2 bosses, one at the end of Season 1 and 2. The boss at the end of Season 1 is the Tank Pig, a huge pig inside a tank that fires a constant stream of ham at you, then chases after you once the tank is destroyed. Don't ask me how I didn't die during this fight, despite being close enough to see every hair on the pig's snout. For the second boss, the dev clearly took inspiration from his favourite series of games once more and copied the classic From Software Gank duo fight. This boss is actually a duo boss made up of a big ice and big fire pig. They both shoot hams of their type all around them, but also every 10 seconds or so they summon a wave of flying pigs that immediately home in on you. Once each big pig is knocked off their perch, they slowly come towards you. This fight is incredibly difficult because you need to shoot each boss around 200 times, so it's more a test of your click speed than your skill. I tried a few times but was nowhere near. The flying pigs are just too good at the video game. In the end, I did something I'd never done before, changed the difficulty to the lowest. I managed to defeat the boss once I'd done that thanks to it spawning a few less flying pigs. It hurt my pride to do this, but I thought to myself, I'm literally playing a game called Big Pig. And also, why is my urine red? And that's basically all there is to Big Pig. It is a surprisingly fun game that's not too intensive. Maybe one day I'll get a VR headset and play it the way God intended. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I hope you have a great day.